What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to talk about some very big news that's coming out that's affecting Tesla, not to mention some key levels for how we're going to be looking for today. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon in just about a couple of weeks. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So far, Tesla has been holding up very nicely in this range between the 290 area and about this 285 zone. So we're doing a good job. We're just range bound for now. So we'll be watching to see how this ends up developing. But just know this, so far we're holding up and there is potential for more upside if we continue to break out through this resistance. So we'll have to give this more time to develop. But just know this, when it comes to our data, we just got initial jobless claims. It was basically aligned with expectations. The market just held up as it came out. And there's not really much else coming out. We just have a couple of bill auctions throughout the day until we get to 2 p.m. and we have the Fed rate decision. So we might see Jerome Powell announce, well, not Jerome Powell, but we're going to see the announcement that the Fed is cutting by 25 basis points. And then Jerome Powell comes out at 2:30 p.m. So at 2:30 p.m., we have the press conference. That's going to be huge, especially as Jerome Powell talks about the economy and factors just like that. Now, I also want to call out the fact that there's about a 99.3% chance we get a 25 basis point cut. The market's expecting that, so once the news comes out, we'll see what kind of reaction we get. And on top of that, when it comes to earnings, I didn't really see much for today. We did have Moderna. Just know this about Moderna: the share price, I believe, is up right now because of the fact that they posted a surprise profit, and we actually saw some nice growth despite some very interesting circumstances. EPS was beat at 3 cents. That's we were expecting a loss of $1.90, so that's actually a nice beat. And revenues at 1.86 billion, well above expectations. Their guidance was not too bad; it was pretty decent as well. That's why the share price is once again pushing quite nicely. As far as Tesla goes, any news about Tesla? I did see a lot of headlines coming out about how many EVs out there took a dive, whereas Tesla has soared. It has a lot to do with Elon Musk's comments and the fact that Musk has endorsed former President Trump, or the current President Trump, excuse me, guys. But I just want to say that right now it's very important to say this because you have to make it clear that the entire EV sector did not really like the news that Trump had won because of his changes to his tax incentives and factors like that. Whereas Elon Musk has stated that Tesla is going to be completely fine. I believe that Tesla will be impacted by the policies for the shorter term, but yes, for the medium to longer term, Tesla is going to be completely fine. And I still think that Tesla could still offset all of this with other circumstances. And we could talk more about those a little bit later on. But Tesla's going to be fine nonetheless. I still agree with that. They will be impacted by the shift to the tax credits and factors like that. I still think that despite what Elon Musk has said. But like I said before, Tesla's going to be fine because of different factors, especially as they slowly get closer to unveiling their robotaxi event. So keep that in mind, guys. For more factors involving the markets, there's not really much coming out so far. The main thing that a lot of people are talking about is this right here about how we have the Fed coming out very soon. Not to mention some more news about how Stellantis is laying off about 1,100 employees. So just want to call that out. That is something that's going on. And then there's been some talk about how, with President Trump, he is proposing the idea of increasing tariffs on many products. That's going to be something we could talk about maybe later on, but I'm seeing a lot of headlines about that. Anyways, so what do I see for what's going on right over here? If you look at Tesla, we have this resistance to watch for near 290, and our support where we're getting bought back up happens to be around 285, at least for the pre-market. So that's our main range right over here. If Tesla were to end up dipping and we end up losing 285, make sure you watch this support over here, all the way down here around 282, which is where we had this previous resistance, followed by 280 below that. For resistance, if we do try to push higher, if we break 290, look for 292, 295, then eventually 300 as our potential targets. So far, Tesla's doing a good job at remaining range bound. So I anticipate it might attempt to push upon open, but then continue to stay range bound for the most part until we get a big reaction once we get the FOMC report. So we're just waiting for that. So look for a push and a lot of sideways price action for now, and then we'll see how things end up going. As far as SPY goes, this is technically more bullish. This could help Tesla push a little bit. So Tesla's going to likely push as well with the market to try to fight for 290. Maybe we go above it. It is still possible. Actually, Tesla tries to break a little bit above 290, but then I do anticipate a lot of sideways price action as the hours progress. So just keep that in mind. So I just wanted to clarify that. Might be a little bit of a push to 290, a little bit of above that before we see a lot of sideways price action. All right. Going back to SPY, like I was going to say, we're basically testing 592.5 around that range as our resistance. Above that, we're looking for 594, and then 595 to 597 is our targets. For supports, don't forget about the 590 area. If that were to fail us, we're looking for essentially 588. Overall, SPY is more bullish on the 4-hour time frame. We're doing a good job at holding up. I'm favoring that this is going to try to push upon open near 594. If we break that, we're gonna be looking for a much bigger push. But so far we're doing a good job. I think that 594 could be coming, and then we might see a lot of consolidation after that. And then after all that's taken care of, we might just continue to remain range bound. We're still going to be waiting for what happens with our economic data. So we're going to be waiting for FOMC to cause a bigger move. So give that some time. For ES, we're more bullish. I think we're looking for 5980, so our targeting eventually the 6,000 area. I think we're getting very, very close to these levels. If we don't hold above 5980, though, we do have a main support around 5940. I'm favoring upside to get close to 5980, then eventually 6,000. We'll see how it reacts to that. So give this some more time to develop. For Nvda, we look more bullish. As long as we don't end up losing essentially 144, we are favoring a push higher for 146.5. Which if we break, we're going to be pumping even more all the way up towards that 148 area. So I could see Nvidia try to push even more upon open, but then we'll see how things go from there depending on our data. For Bitcoin, like I said before in my video yesterday, I was anticipating a bit of a dip, and that is what happened so far. There is this imbalance here, so it might dip a little bit more towards 74,000 flats, if not 73,800 before it tries to bounce again. Overall, look for a small dip before it tries to rebound. For NQ, we've been pushing very nicely. We're at 21,000 basically. We'll see if we could break that resistance or not. It is going to be a little bit tough. But once we break that, we're going to be looking for 21,100 flats. We do like to move in areas of 100. And then we'll see if we break this or not. Look for a little bit more upside potential. Then we'll see how it goes after that. For the QQQ, we look more bullish. We've broken past 505, so now our target's about 508. If that breaks, look at 509, then 510 as our potential targets. Once again, at all-time highs, look at every dollar amount as our resistance. So far, I might try to push a little bit higher for 509 to 510 before it starts to consolidate for a bit until we get the big reaction after FOMC. For Apple, we look more bullish. We could be attempting to push back up for 224, then eventually 226. Look for 224 to be tested. We'll see how it reacts, but it looks more bullish. The IWM Russell 2000. This is just trading sideways. We could dip back down for about 235, then rebound and continue to trade sideways for the time being. So give this some time to develop. For coin, we are also looking like we're going to dip a little bit. We did call this out yesterday. I wasn't expecting it to come down to this imbalance. We could be looking for a test of about 238 or a little bit below that before it tries to bounce again. We look for a little bit more downside before we get the bounce. For Amazon, we remain more bullish. We're looking for a potential target at 210. If that breaks, we're looking for 212. If we lose 208 or 207, excuse me, then we're going to be dipping back down for 204. Overall, we do look more bullish though, so keep that in mind. Meta is trying to break past. We got to hold above 573.5. If we hold that, I think we go back up for 580. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping, but this does look a little bit more bullish. Microsoft is looking more bullish. As long as we don't end up losing 420, we're favoring a push all the way up towards very close to 423. For Google, we're more bullish. We're looking for 180 is our resistance. If that breaks, we have 182.5. If we lose 178, we're looking for a dip back down towards the next supports around 175. But this is favoring upside for 180 to be tested very soon. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day. That is it for my video for the time being. For Tesla, I do anticipate a little bit of a push upon open. We could attempt to push close to about 29, but then I expect a lot of sideways price action. If 290 does break, we could be pushing to the lower 290s for now, but then look for some sideways price action as we get very, very close to the notorious reports with FOMC. All right, so I thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll be back in a couple of hours for another update. Until then, look for somewhat of a reaction once we get the data in a couple of hours, and we'll see how things go. Thank you for listening, and peace out.